up here, Crypto Rice. You got 10 seconds. Make it good.
All right, man. Make sure you guys check me out. I am Rice TVX. The channel itself is not limited to just cryptocurrency. If you like freedom, you like economics, you like law, make sure you check out my channel. It was Rice Crypto. I am now Rice TVX.
Coming up next, a man by the name of Steve McGarry, but I know him as Hack Crypto. He is an NFT influencer, one of the very first and still standing and growing. Steve, take it away.
What's up, guys? Steve McGarry. My channel name is Hack Crypto on YouTube. I majored in economics and game theory, so I talk about tokenomics and everything around new blockchain projects. So check me out, Hack Crypto on YouTube.
Wait.
Oh, we're doing this? What do we got?
He was nominated for Best NFT Influencer, one of the first. He tied with a guy by the name of Crypto Stash, who couldn't make it here today. Crypto Stash says, I can give him the belt. You're gonna have to share it with him. Here you go, brother. Give a round of applause. All right, the next guy up here, I don't know if you know him. I mean, he's a good looking guy, but I don't know if you heard of him. His name is Ben Armstrong, Bitboy Crypto. Get up here.
Hey, my name is Ben. I run a channel called Bitboy Crypto, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, you're not doing it right.
Ben, you know I got something for you.
Yeah.
Stay here for a second. So, all of my awards are pretty much dumb. I love them, but they're dumb, but there's one that actually has value. It is the golden upvote. Why does it have value? Because it's 100% chosen by the fans. Fans have to go in and write someone's name and spell it correctly, and whoever gets the most write-in votes wins. We had 15,200 votes this year, and with a staggering 50% of the vote, Bitboy Crypto wins for the third year in a row.
Running out of room in the trophy case.
Absolutely. All right, Ben, you got all the cred. You got all the street cred in the world. We need to introduce a guy who needs some more street cred. MineYourBiz, Seth Extrada. And that noise you heard was Bitboy sitting on his mic. It was not a fart, or it may have been. I don't know. Go ahead, Seth.
All right, guys, you can sub to my channel by going to sub.myb.lol. Yes, that's a real URL. When you follow it, you're going to automatically subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I've got, what, like 4 seconds left? So here's what I'm going to do instead of talk to you. I'm going to do some push-ups. There we go. Ben, sit on his back.
I thought about being able to put my foot on it. I didn't want to hold him back.
Keep going. What you see on top of Seth Extrada's back is the other golden upvote belt. Unfortunately, Ben is tied this year with a guy by the name of Ran Noir, Crypto Banter. Crypto Banter was supposed to do a show here, a live show, but I don't know what happened. It got canceled to show up, so I'm gonna let Seth keep that. Mail that to Crypto Banter when you get the chance, will ya? Who am I forgetting? Crypto Blood here yet? Crypto Blood? Get up here, you're late. Crypto Blood's from Detroit. He's the really crypto influencer you're gonna meet. Maybe a little bit realer than Ben Armstrong, I don't know. No, we're gonna have a debate.
I keeps it real, y'all know that.
It keeps it real from the ATL. I'm from DET, Detroit. Thank you guys for attending today. You can follow me on YouTube at CryptoBlood, CBTV, and on Twitter at CryptoBlood_. Thank you.
And humble, too. All right, the man of the hour, the last guy and most important person on this panel, sorry, Ben, is a guy by the name of Justin JChains Custardo. Did I say that right? I said it right. And this is his baby. He's your host. I'm going to toss this mic to him right after I give him his belt. This is a HODL belt sponsored by Marnart Token. A guy by the name of Robert Beatles wanted to honor people he thought were doing selfless acts in the space. You can't win this belt. This is awarded. And we're giving it to JChains and all of the Bit Squad, DZ, TJ, Justin Williams, and even Ben himself, because they do this show. And this show is amazing, and it helps guys like Rice, Hack, Seth, and Blood grow their channels. and it's amazing. Here's your belt. Take it away. I'm getting off the stage. I'm terrible at this.
Thank you. How do you turn this thing on? Here we go. Does this thing work? And here we go. Thank you. We will gladly accept this on behalf of the entire Bit Squad because you guys make all of this happen. Benjamin, we love you, buddy. All right, well, normally when we start the show around the blockchain, we have a fun little introduction for everybody. But Adam, thank you for doing that for us. All right, so today on Around the Blockchain, now if you're not familiar with the show, it is on Bitboy Crypto, which is the home of the Bit Squad and the largest crypto channel in the universe, we like to say. The Bit Squad is the best. This is Around the Blockchain. Typically, this is a show that is on YouTube, and it's a little more digitized, but everybody is going to be keeping their own score. So if you are in the audience and you like what you're hearing, make a little noise, and these guys will write in a score. We'll make sure that they don't cheat too much, Ben. We're going to watch you, because we know he's already put $1 million on his thing. Let's go. All right, so originally this show was going to be held in the Metaverse tent, so everything I planned was around the Metaverse, but we're not in the Metaverse anymore. We're here at the alpha stage. Bunch of alpha men up here. There's no ladies allowed up here today. Sorry, ladies. We love you. And my wife is in the, well, no, my baby actually had a blowout diaper, so she's getting changed right now. Sorry, honey. All right. So again, we got a great panel. We got Steve McGarry of Hack Crypto, Seth Estrada of MineYourBiz, Crypto Blood of Crypto Blood, Ben Armstrong of Bitboy Crypto, and my man Rice of Rice TVX. All right. Let's see here. Typically, at this point now, we would check some market watch. I don't know what Bitcoin is at. I know that we had a little dump. And we had a little
Audience,
bump.
what is Bitcoin at?
Someone check your portfolio.
57,195.
All right, what's ETH? Now let's know what was ETH at.
46,490. Oh, I was gonna say 46.50. I was gonna guess.
Well, see, he's already trying to get himself points. Should he get a point for that or no? Yes. No. The audience.
Do y'all hate me? Oh my gosh.
Audience gets a point for that. All right, so now, like, we've changed the format of the show where we'll start it off with a lightning round. It's really just to kind of get everybody in the mood, get chit-chatting. Audience, -1. Okay.
Negative 1
All right,
for the
so
audience.
basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with Rice. We'll move down the list, down the line here to answer this first lightning question. And that is gonna start right now. So everybody here has either seen the movie, read the book, or listened to the audiobook Ready Player One. Right? I would assume that everybody has done that, which in my opinion, the audiobook was fantastic, way better than the movie, but the movie really did a great job of illustrating what the metaverse could be, right? I would think that it really, now my parents even could understand what it is, which is interesting. But in your opinion, Rice, how far off from what you saw or what you experienced with Ready Player One is the true metaverse gonna look like? And you can take about 30 seconds to answer.
I would say that we're just a few years away from actually achieving that, if not sooner. You see all this advancement going towards the metaverses. You see Facebook with the name change to Meta. You're seeing all this growth in the space. I definitely see people putting a lot of work towards it and a lot of development towards it. So I think in the next couple of years.
Wonderful. Let's give yourself 2 points. I will also give points. If you guys don't clap or say give him some points, I'm gonna have to do it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Steve, what you got for us?
You gotta turn it on.
You are.
Hello. All right. So
Nope.
in terms of the metaverse, I co-founded a company called Grow Your Base. We're the 8th largest landowner in Sandbox. And it has been the wildest ride, seeing the one-by-ones go from $40 to now $15,000 in the last year and a half. But in terms of what I've seen personally and where we're at, it's still very, very early with Sandbox Alpha coming out on Monday. Seeing that was only like a small, teeny tiny little glimpse. Whereas Ready Player One, like my guy here in the front row, wearing almost a VR headset. What is that, by the way?
He's in the metaverse already.
He's literally in the metaverse. Mirror vision. Wow. Okay, right on. Well, in terms of Ready Player One, where you're actually extracting more value in the metaverse than you do in your real life, I think that we're maybe 10 years away from that. It could be 5, but based on the Philippines pulling value from Axie Infinity so quickly, people making full-time entire incomes, I think for the rest of the world, that's going to take at least 10 years.
It is going to. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Well, I don't have to say it every time. Let's give him some points. How many points did you give yourself?
What do we think? 10? Because I said 10 years 3 times?
3.
What do we think?
3 points. All right, Ben. What do you consider your vision of the metaverse compared to what you saw in Ready Player One?
I don't know, but if I want to walk around looking at myself, do I need to get one of those mirror visions?
Yes.
I mean, I can't imagine anything better. You know, just walking around looking at myself all day. That's better than the metaverse. That's like the me-verse. The me-verse. So, you know what's interesting about Ready Player One is when that movie came out, it seemed so futuristic. And nobody could imagine that was a real thing. No one was actually talking about metaverse. But I feel like in crypto, what year did that movie come out? Like 2016?
Ish.
2018. I feel like in 2018, within like a year of that movie coming out, you started to hear whispers about a real metaverse, and you started to hear whispers how crypto could be involved in it. And no, those were conversations we were having very early on in this. And you know what's even more interesting is I made this video about how, you know, going all in on the metaverse, like this is the next move. This is what we're doing as a channel. And then I had no idea that same week Facebook was going to rebrand. And if Facebook rebranding to Meta does not,
because of you.
well, I didn't want to say it, guys, but we are living in the me-verse. So, no, I had no idea they were going to do that. Now, we did know that they were doing some work with the metaverse because we had seen I think it was a $50 million investment, which isn't that much money for a company like Facebook. We also saw that they were, you know, we know that they bought Oculus, which they're now going to rebrand to MetaQuest. And so we knew a lot of stuff like that, but to really look at now where they're moving to and that
Well, that sounds fun.
what happened? It's the Facebook
The
police.
werewolves.
Wow, it's a werewolf. Yeah,
Or a very
Wolf
slowly
Inu.
deflating balloon.
was
Wolf
that Shiba
Inu.
in you? So the thing is, though, is in all reality, like this is the future. It's not that far away. Facebook is moving us towards that, but thankfully, thanks to crypto and decentralization, we have an alternative. I don't think Facebook is really prepared for how much people hate them. I think they're going to have a really hard time because older people, like people my age, a little bit, you know, millennials and yeah, pretty much millennials and up, they hate Facebook with everything. It's the generation older than us, I guess the Generation X, that they're all like, they love it because they share pics of their grandkids. But people my age hate it. And kids now today, they also hate it because they think it's something cool for their parents. So they're not prepared for the pushback that they're gonna have on their metaverse. And people are so tired of them stealing everybody's data and using us as products. And so the metaverse in a decentralized fashion is gonna give us the opportunity to be able to take, stake a new claim out there in the digital landscape that we lost thanks to Facebook.
Great answer. It's going to give you -5 points, though, because here's the deal. I said take about 30 seconds, and if you watch the show on YouTube, you know that we've got this shut
Good
up
score.
button, which you get a 10-second countdown, and I wish I could have hit that about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, sorry, Justin. Sorry, I changed it.
Yeah, okay.
84.
Great, I'm just kidding. Great answer, though.
Thank you.
Seth, what about you?
So I think. So with,
Is that on?
yeah, I don't know if it's on. Are we okay? Levels are up. So with the metaverse, I think that there is obviously a huge pushback that's incoming. Facebook just has they haven't read the room recently, right? Even before they announced this whole switch to Meta, there was a mass exodus from Facebook to other social media platforms. In the publishing space, we've been talking about the holy grail of decentralized video hosting that somehow also gives you good organic discovery for years, maybe for longer than this whole push towards the metaverse, and maybe since before Ready Player One came out. I think that if we do move to something that's like the metaverse from Ready Player One, it's going to have to slowly build into things into this space where we have our own avatar, where we are removed from our own identity. We have to preserve our autonomy and our data privacy, and the only way we're going to do that initially is by choosing, kind of these avatars that don't directly represent us. And that goes against everything that companies like Facebook stand for, where they want you doxxed. They want to own every bit of your personally identifying information. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think that we actually have to have a cultural change before it can happen safely.
I love that. Let's give yourself 4 points on that. Now, I love what you said about the cultural change because we are going to get into that a little bit more when we get into more of the deep dive questions. So great job. 4 points for you, Seth. Blood. Let's hear it.
What?
Yeah. Let's go, Blood.
What is Ready Player One? I've never heard of this movie. Is it like Juice or Menace to Society?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
about Paid in Full?
White Man Can't Jump.
Oh, okay. No, I really have not seen that movie, but I will say that many people forget about a game called Second Life. And I think they really were ahead of their time. And you've seen in the past, many people make money, like they're living off of doing things in Second Life. And so I think we're actually probably closer to that being a very popular thing, I would say in the next 2 to 3 years, to be honest with you, with Meta, Facebook, they have, 2 billion people that they can at least try to vertically integrate. I think we are around the corner, to be honest with you.
I love it. 3 points for you. Right? 3 points? 3 points? I like it. Okay, well, so that will conclude the lightning round, and I hope you guys are warmed up, ready to go, ready to chat some metaverse.
Oh, that was the lightning round.
Yeah, see.
Oh, I missed that part.
See, when you go long-winded, you kind of miss the point of the lightning round. But anyway, all right, Seth, I'm going to come to you on this first question. Now, in your opinion, and just talking about Meta, what are the biggest privacy concerns with a company like Facebook or Meta with the rebrand actually leading the charge into this metaverse with what would seem to be a war chest of money, technology resources, and a lot of stolen data?
Yeah, that last bit is the most important thing. Most people don't even realize that even if you're not on Facebook, Facebook basically has a dossier on you. They know you, even if you don't think that you've given them anything. So all this correlated data set that exists because whatever, your aunt is really, really big into Facebook and scrapbooking, both. And she thinks that Facebook is a scrapbooking platform. So unbeknownst to you, every one of your childhood photos, yes, including the one we're in the bathtub, they're all on Facebook. And so something that they don't talk about very openly, some of the open source technologies that they stole years ago, like 10 years ago, to be able to do facial detection and then facial recognition, they've been running those algorithms for the better part of 10 years. This stuff isn't new. They already have a graph on your personally identifying information. So all the other stuff is actually secondary because they monetized that. And when they finally realized what they had, they started running ads and doing streaming. By the time we thought that there was some kind of an advertising platform on Facebook, they had all that stuff captured, locked in. So they own us. Even those of us who think we're abstaining, they own us. So with personal data privacy, one of the only things we can do is begin to what's called poison the well. Give them junk data. That's pretty much one of our only lines of defense as users of these platforms. And then moving forward, we further and further abstract our identity from all these platforms, and we build an avatar that's of our choosing, not just the previous data set that they've been controlling and manipulating for the better part of a decade.
Wow. I feel great. I feel like I just learned something. Thank you. Give yourself a few points. Audience, what do you think? 5 points. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, I did want to say, like, throughout... So throughout, like, this question kind of period that we're going through right now, I would encourage the rest of you guys to chime in. Like, so if you have something kind of in a rebuttal or something to say about what Seth said, please pop in.
I'd love to add on to that. I think that the hate for Zuck and Meta is actually the best advertising that could ever happen to the decentralized concepts. I think it's just similar to Libra when that was a whole thing, that whenever that was that 2 or 3 years ago? That concept was that they were going to come out with a digital wallet, and then everybody was going to then rush to Bitcoin and Ethereum because they were like, okay, Zuck, you're annoying. I'm going to go see how I can do this elsewhere. So I think that the hate train towards Facebook is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I don't think that it's a bad thing for everybody in this room. I think it's a great thing.
But this technology, we have to really continue to educate people because it can be used against the uninformed, right? So we just have to make sure people understand Meta, Facebook Meta is not metaverse and what we're building on and community building. So I think it's just important that we continually show people the difference. They're not the same.
Perfect. Something like playing off of what you just said, and then Steve, kind of what you just said. This question is going to come to you. Now, you are also a new father yourself within the last year.
Yeah.
What are some security measures that you think are going to be needed in order to address places like the metaverse, where obviously a lot of the platforms that are building, especially in the crypto space, are decentralized, and we know what is going on a decentralized internet. A lot of bad things. So what kind of protocols need to be in place in order to protect children or those that are more vulnerable?
Yeah, it's a great question. So one of the things that I did do on the father note, and I think that's your little...
Justin,
that's mine.
there's a baby making noise in the audience.
Excuse me, wife, if you could...
Put that baby in the
I think she was
metaverse
giving
now.
me points, actually. I think
That's
what she was
Justin's
saying.
baby, everybody.
Give the baby a hand.
She's so cute.
5 points for the baby.
5 points. 5. I would give the baby 10 points.
10 points
10
for the baby. Oh, yeah,
10
sorry about
points
that.
for
Go
the
ahead.
So one of the things that I did was the month that my son was born, I set up an email account for him, set up a Bitcoin and Ethereum wallet for him, sent him like $20 each, and each 6 months I send him an email to that email, something sweet and whatnot. And the idea is that he has a ledger and that everything's backed up to his ledger. And for birthdays, holidays, stuff like that, I just send stuff to his ledger. And when he's old enough, I'm going to give him the keys to the ledger, pretty much. That's
Dang,
how,
I'm gonna
that's
steal
how
that
I'm
idea.
playing it.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
My daughter is a Bitcoiner. I haven't set anything up. Well, I guess we did set up an email address. I love that idea, and I think that we'll probably put that into play for our life.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Give yourself some points.
All right. Points.
Blood. Now, some of the things we're talking about with the metaverse, and we're going to see society change. A lot of things are going to change, whether it's business. I mean, think about even like restaurants, right? People, if you get sucked into the metaverse, you're not going to go to a restaurant anymore. All right, and that's just the example, but what are some of the biggest changes that we'll see in society as a whole as we get to a more mainstream metaverse?
Commerce, I think, the digital age of, creating things in that world is going to take over. I can see really, like in 20 years, the metaverse having its own GDP tracking system or number, right? Because I think it's going to be that big. With more people, jobs being eliminated from AI and even blockchain, but tech period, it's going to continue to eliminate jobs that aren't going to be replaced. So I think people are going to move to the metaverse to make a living. Yeah. So
I think you're absolutely right. And it's really going to be interesting to see which industries we lose. Because there will be some downfall. I mean, it's just the way that it goes. It's, the casualty of war.
Almost anything that does not involve human interaction.
Right.
Counselors, pastors, psychologists, those are very safe jobs.
Rice talked about meta.
Yeah, actually, there was an interview that Mark Zuckerberg did with Gary Vee a couple weeks ago, and he talks about churches using the metaverse to do like meetings. So the potential idea that we could be moving our workplaces. I mean, if you look what happened in 2020 with COVID and people sitting at home and working from home in remote locations, doing the Zoom meetings, those things will eventually be replaced with things like the metaverse as well. And when I said earlier, like 2 to 3 years, me seeing the metaverse like a Ready Player One start to develop, I'm saying that from a centralized perspective. That does not include anything to do with blockchain technology or cryptocurrencies. I mean, we're going to have battles of metaverses that are going to be centralized databases versus decentralized databases, if you want to call them that. But that's just to explain a little bit why I was saying 2 to 3 years. Because from a centralized perspective, I mean, we could see just with cryptocurrency, you have a centralized blockchain like Solana. Yeah, you can have fast throughput, but then you have to turn off your blockchain when you have issues. So then you have that centralization problem. And those are the things that we need to get away from when it comes to this planet. We need to decentralize as many things as we can possibly decentralize and put the power back into the hands of we, the people.
There we go. There we go. I think we forgot to give a few points away. So, Blood, give yourself 5 points.
So wait, we're going to have baby Jesus in the metaverse?
Big baby Jesus. Big baby Jesus.
That's it.
Dear 6 pound, 7 ounce baby Jesus.
But I worry a bit about that because imagine that this is your resource for an AA meeting. Do you really think that Facebook and Meta can be entrusted with the sordid details of your or my addiction? Right, and say like, oh, so that's your kink, huh? So it's okay. Your secret's safe with us.
Well, I tell you what, Digital Budweiser is going to sponsor your AA meeting. They're going to put beer.eth and FTs all over the wall. So they're trying to call you to come back. They
I'm
don't
a
want you to be a quitter.
digi-alcoholic.
There was a great conversation with Naval Ravikant about the future and how he said that with things like the metaverse and blockchain, it's going to allow people to actually pursue their creativity, and we're just going to automate a lot of the other jobs and everything out, which is a bleak way of looking at some of the infrastructure jobs and stuff like that. But if every person gets to do creative things every day that you love and you're passionate about, is that so bad if everybody can do something creative?
Well, think about this though. Here's what's so interesting, is that that's the tension that we're seeing right now. Why do you think Arby's can't get enough workers to stay open past 6 o'clock on a Sunday?
Because they've got the meat.
Well, that's right, because they have the meats. But
People be there if they had the meat.
they have the meats, blood.
Where's the beef?
They have the meats. Arby's does not stand for roast beef, by the way. That's a myth. But listen, here's true story. But here's the thing. We're seeing this tension right now exist between what people feel like they have to do to survive and what people feel like they want to do. And nobody really today wants to go and work at McDonald's. Nobody wants to go work a corporate job that they really hate. And we're living in this weird tension of this overlap between the way things were done and the way things were going to be done, because we don't actually have the technology right now today to do away with all the other jobs that people hate. But in the future, we will. And I personally think we're much further away from a lot of this than people on the stage have said. Because I said probably a year and a half or 2 years ago that I project it'll be 25 to 50 years before the majority of our world economy is happening in gaming and in the metaverse. And I still think that's going to be how it's going to happen. The long and the short of it is you have to let older, now this is going to sound terrible. This is going to sound terrible. People are going to hate me over this. The generations that do not want to adapt to this kind of technology en masse. Like, I know, obviously, if anybody in here is 60 years old or up, like, you're in the know. Like, you are a cutting edge person. The majority of your peers are not. Okay, so the older generation will continue to push back against this stuff until time goes by, and in 25 to 50 years, all people pretty much know the digital life and they value the digital life. So I think it's going to be a long time before this actually happens. It's not going to be an easy transition. I think when you go back to, it's just like almost anything else in life. Like, the more of an expert you become, the longer you're in something, like kind of almost the further away things feel. I know in 2017 and 2018, like, we all felt like adoption was right around the corner, and it's taken a lot longer than we would have thought, but it's still happening, and it's still happening pretty fast. But I think this whole metaverse thing and this idea that we're all going to be living in it and making money in it, we're still at the very, very beginning, early stages of this. If you look at crypto right now, crypto is not the vast percentage of our world economy. Raoul Powell's talking about $200 trillion into crypto, in the crypto markets, and 10 to 20 years. Well, that's more money almost than exists in the world as it is already. So when you look at that and you think about the metaverse, I just think it's a little bit further off than people think. And I think we're going to have to see a lot of change before we get there. But it is weird seeing this tension where people want to be in the metaverse now. The younger generation who are digitally inclined, they want to be in the metaverse now. They want to be doing creative stuff now. The number one job, you guys know what the number one job kids want is?
I know.
Number one is YouTuber, number two is influencer. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Well, and gamer is up there as well. But it's so interesting. Like, I grew up wanting to be a professional athlete. Like, that's what I wanted to be. That was what every kid that I knew wanted to be. And then, spoiler alert, I didn't make it. I do play some mean pickleball, but like, it's number 8 today, professional athlete. And it's just funny how I'm doing the number one job. I still wish I was number 8 though.
Yeah. So on that note, though, like the number one job description though of adults right now that is non-skilled labor is driver. Bro, my Uber driver asked me about crypto. He wanted to learn. There's a knowledge gap, even especially in some of these places where there's a skill gap. And I mean, it really hit home. Yo soy cubano americano. For those in the audience who know. Go on, I say this. I say this right here in the audience. It hit really close to home to have somebody say like, yeah, you know, I'm in the struggle. I'm trying to make something happen. But then he shows up with this Crypto.com wallet. He has no idea of how to hold his own sovereign keys. And it broke my heart that I couldn't spend more time with him because he had to take his next Uber drive, right? Like, there's not time, there's not money, there's heart, there's will, but there's also a knowledge and an onboarding gap that we got to get past. And these are the folks that are unfortunate. They're gonna fall through those cracks, right? When we try to make that transition to a metaverse where there's something meaningful for these folks to do after Tesla replaces all of them.
Well, okay.
Screw Elon
Ben,
Musk.
you had mentioned like younger people would be more prone to want to go into the metaverse because they want to be creative. Do you think about the perspective of the state of the world today and how it's been like the past 10 years and how shitty of an existence it is and how some people don't want to actually live the lives they live and it would just be much better to live in some digital VR world? I mean, there's a lot of people that are in that position where they just don't like their life. A lot of people have to work this 9-to-5 job. They're working a third or a quarter of their year to go towards taxes, and they're just doing this repeat cycle. So
Yeah, but the vast majority of those people don't know they're in the cycle. Right. And I think that's the big problem. The people that do know they're in the cycle, they're the ones that are in this room. They're the people that are seeking after something different. Those are the people that are doing the side hustles because they see that they're going to be stuck doing the status quo forever. The vast majority of those people don't know that they're trapped in it. And you know what? Here's the real truth of it is. The truth is we need those people. We need those people, some of those people that don't know that they're trapped in it, because I still want Arby's to be open at 6 o'clock when I go on a Sunday. The one time I went in the last year, I did want it to be open and it wasn't open. I do need somebody to make my meats.
The world needs garbage men.
boycott Arby's.
Yeah. The world needs garbage men, and I think that, look, you have people that are innovators, you have people that are curious, you have people that are leaders, but have you ever tried to turn someone who's not a leader into a leader? It doesn't work. They're not built that way. So, and this is why, like, I mean, this is kind of a larger conversation. It's really off topic, but that's why almost any person you talk to in this room, you will get along great with them. And you'll be like, wow, you speak my language, you understand what I'm doing. How many of us, our very best friends are in crypto? It's because people in crypto have a certain mindset. We are the curious innovators out there, and everybody's not like us. If you ever try to talk to somebody about crypto that just doesn't get it and you can't put it through their skull, it's because they don't want to get it. They're not built to get it. So, you know, consider yourself very lucky to be kind of in this select group of people that are, you know, leading the change in technology in the world, and that are, you know, reaping the financial benefits of it, because it's not for everybody. It's kind of like, you know, I don't want to go speaking the gospel in here, but it's kind of like
Preach, Reverend, preach.
Yeah. Like in the Bible, there's a part where Jesus sends the disciples out, and he says, "Go talk to them. If they don't listen, wipe your feet. Well, you know, wipe the dust off your feet and move on." And that's kind of how it is, I think, in crypto. Like, a lot of us, we spend too much time trying to talk to people that don't care and don't want to listen. Find the people that want to listen.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's a great. I love that. Hey, if you were applauding in this office for that, make sure that you clap for yourself for, like Ben said, for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself a +1 in the chat for being in the space early, because you are here early. All right, something that I heard pretty much every one of you guys say, and I'm going off kind of my question list because this is something I heard a lot about. And you're like, oh, it's the young people getting ready, and oh, they're not really ready to get into the metaverse. Okay, well, during the pandemic, we saw the shift to students and teachers e-learning. We saw the shift to people in the corporate world. Zoom. I mean, you did 1,000 times more Zoom calls than you ever did in your life, right? Yes. So with that being said, and this question, and I'd like this to be a discussion for everybody, because this is something I think is important. Being a new father myself, something that, you know, it just popped into my head. Okay, so now you've got the metaverse. If you are in a rural place in the middle of nowhere, if you are in a low-income area and you don't have the same opportunity that someone does in a much better school district, does the metaverse now put us all on the same playing field to where you've got the same opportunity? There's no excuse to not be the best that you can be, right? How does
I don't think so. I don't think so.
We also have YouTube today. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you could learn a lot of things. Like, people could replace their education with something like YouTube. But I definitely think that the metaverse is going to create a lot more opportunity. So that way you don't have to necessarily attend a school that's local to you, You could attend a school that maybe would be in another country. Just the curriculum is something that the parents want. So
But you can do that
the
now,
options,
though.
I think, are going to give a lot more options for people to be able to expand out. But I think we already have resources now that helps us to self-educate. That I think that if we don't take advantage of those,
But that's a
But you're not
different
gonna,
kind of.
but you're not gonna send your 5-year-old to a YouTube school. They
Yeah,
have to go to a
it's
real
a different
school.
kind of
Right,
self-education, though. Like this, that's kind of like practical self-education, you know, and self-learning. Whereas when you look at like, I mean, I have kids, you know, my kids.
you can learn science stuff. You can learn real education.
Well, you also have to think
valuable
about you
information.
also have to think about learning styles too. Like there are kids that are suffering today because Zoom does not fit their learning style, you know, and that is really big. And you also think about it's not just, and I don't know, like this is me as a parent. You know, our kids, we had been homeschooled, or my kids have been homeschooled since kindergarten. We had a bad experience in kindergarten with my oldest son, and basically like he was ahead of a lot of the other kids. And we went to the teacher and we said, you know, what can we do? You know, because he's saying he was crying because he was so bored. And he doesn't misbehave like I did when I was a kid. So he would just sit there and be kind of dying while everybody else is, you know, trying to learn, and he knew it all already. And the teacher said, oh, don't worry, eventually he'll catch up. Like eventually everybody else will catch up to him. And I was like, well, that's not really how you feed intellect. You know, is to sit there and wait, dumb kids down so eventually other kids can catch up to them. Like that's not an effective strategy, especially like some of these places are talking about getting rid of their gifted programs and stuff like that. It's bad stuff. But when we started homeschooling our kids, like obviously we realized like the other huge fundamental aspect of education is the school experience itself, you know, and becoming, you know, integrated socially. And we're lucky, our kids are not socially awkward, they never have been. But, you know, a lot of homeschool kids are because they don't get that social integration. And so you have to think about it more than just the education. But maybe we're moving to a place, and this is like really weird and scary, like maybe we're moving to a place where being, you know, integrated sociologically doesn't really matter as long as you're integrated digitally.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah. And even Zuck, despite his hate, he said something in his Meta launch or announcement where he said, we started with pictures and we moved into text and video sharing, and now you're actually going to feel presence of another human. And that could be the transition that what you're talking about.
Don't we already have that, Santa?
Of
getting presents from another human.
presence,
Is Santa a human?
As in my presence
Santa's
next
not
to
real.
JChain right now.
Yeah, I got.
My
you.
kid's my bad. I already said my kid cries.
Your daughter-
God, he's gonna be mad at me.
But I feel like that could be maybe in a weird future, we're in the midst of a shift towards that presence being a social interaction instead of it being IRL like right now, and that being more valuable than IRL, which is just very uncomfortable to think about. And maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but nobody knows.
Yeah, so so the way you put it, I agree with you as far as the some kids learn differently, right? So the Meta will help with those kids. But as far
Thank
as
you, bud.
access to information, I think we already have the internet that's able to get that kid in Cambodia or wherever the information they need. So in that case, I don't think the metaverse will change or improve that, but it will improve the experience of the whole educational world. So
Very exciting to see where it's all going to go. And, obviously, we got different opinions of how long it's going to take us to get there and when we'll get there and how it'll all look. But I know we're all excited to be building in space, especially you, because you do a lot in it.
That's right.
We've got about 6 minutes left. That runs me out of questions. I figured you guys would talk a little bit more on that last one. It was
going.
really my question was about education, but I guess maybe we can expand into the whole business and corporate world and how that changes.
I'd love to talk about work in terms of digital jobs and the impact that metaverse is going to have on that.
Let's go.
I think that we are underestimating the 2 billion gamers out there in terms of them not even understanding that they can own a piece of the game that they're actually playing and generating a full-time income. And that hasn't really struck yet. Like, people are still intimidated. There's no real education going on yet. And once that does hit and you have these literally billions with a B amount of gamers coming into the metaverse, digital jobs are going to completely change when you have people that are building that used to build in Minecraft and Roblox. They're building now as full-time architects for Nike in these new metaverses because no one else has the skill set to do it. You have this shift of digital jobs to the younger generation that's digital native. And I've talked to literally like 14-year-olds that are more skilled than some of the like best architects I've ever seen in the metaverse, and they're building for brands that I can't even mention, but they're huge companies coming in right now. So digital jobs are changing hands from the analog into the digital as we're on stage.
Now that's a great point. That's another question that I know, especially with New Money Gang, the channel that I'm associated with my buddy Brian, somewhere in the room. One of our main focuses is to really explore how, because our mission statement of our channel is to turn your passion into profit. And obviously, if this is the life that we're living and the things that we're in, the metaverse and making money within the metaverse is going to be very important to a lot of people. How do you do it? We know right now that you can buy land, you can sit on it, you can sell it, you can rent it out, you can advertise. There are just a handful of ways that you can make money. That's another way you can get involved with a company. What are some other ways that you guys see people actually being able to make, whether it's just a living or become wealthy within the space?
So I think there are going to be some things that we can't foresee right now, sort of like known unknowns at this point. So a bit like what Steve was saying before about how he's seeing 14-year-old kids, and I'd love to know at some other point like what they look like. Are these neurotypicals or are these neurodivergent kids? Are these kids with mosaic learning disorders like autism and ADHD? Because that's my world. If my kids were pulled out of school right now and we went to all these like faceless, very, very sterilized models only, they would suffer. But then they'd recover. And then they'd outperform most adults because they'd get hyper-focused on building with tools that they understand better than anybody else in the world. And then they function like a machine that they're integrated into. So I think that we're gonna see sort of like a bit of a it's an unknowable Frankenstein's monster, right? When we run the current of like whatever that thing is through all these other parts that we've collected, and then we remove it from the other systems that we think we know. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really difficult for us to know what new business models come out of the mind of a 12-year-old kid who's completely neurodivergent on not just the other side of the tracks, but the other side of the world.
Yeah. And I participated in a shoe drop, a sneaker drop in the metaverse that was for wearables that could go on my avatar. They were camo sneakers. They were amazing. But the guy sold out.
Could you even see them?
Oh, yeah, I could see him. He sold out in 5 minutes, and it was the equivalent of a year's salary that he made in 5 minutes. I mean, he took a long time to build those, but ultimately, this creative person made an entire year's salary on a drop. In
10 minutes.
Says 2 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, we have more.
We have more.
Yeah, we have more. Justin
They're giving
said
us
he
more
already
time.
ran out of stuff to say. So I want to like. Were you done, Steve?
Yeah, buy land in the sandbox.
Yeah, buy land in sandbox. So we actually, you guys who watch my channel, like like I'm not an actual gamer. I like to play Mortal Kombat. Like, yeah. No, I'm a typical Sub-Zero guy. I will kill you with Sub-Zero.
Finish him.
I know it's cheap, but I will, pull your spine out of your head. So, the thing is that I saw very early on where this was going. Just kind of like, I wasn't into mining, but I saw where crypto was going early on. This metaverse is going to take over. It's going to be absolutely huge. We all know that. And so we started getting land in metaverses years ago. We've actually... That's a good idea. We've actually, we have a lot of land in Sandbox. Some we bought. We bought all of it. We paid for all of it, but some of it I think we maybe got like a special deal on. They made sure we got a 12 by 12. The other plots we have there, we paid for just like regular people and got it on the auctions, stuff like that. But we saw this very early on when nobody cared about Sandbox. It launched on Binance, and we remember, or I remember, when we started talking about it before there was even a token. And if you watch the channel for a long time, you know that. Because we see where all of this is going with Metaverse, but it's more about just buying tokens. And I think about this thing called what Seth was talking about, like the Johari window. Do you guys know what that is? It's like you got 4 quadrants, and one quadrant is known knowns. It's things that you know that you know. Then you have known unknowns. Then you have unknown knowns, and then you have unknown unknowns. You know, so it really helps you capture like what you know about any subject, what you don't know about it, and then there are things that you won't be able to figure out until you find them experientially. And so I talk all the time about how much opportunity there is in metaverse, but what are those opportunities? Well, very easily, buying tokens, obviously, buying and reselling land, that's very obvious. Beyond that is what we call a blue ocean opportunity. It means that there's so much opportunity out there for things that are going to be created in the metaverse for you guys to make money with, that the most important, because like a lot of people, they come up to me and they say, well, what are you talking about? Like, what is the actual thing that we can do right now to make money in the metaverse? I don't know. You don't know either. Just like you don't know, I don't know, but I know that it will be. And so that means you're right on the forefront, just asking those questions and being on the lookout for things like that. Like, let's look at decentralized exchanges, for instance, okay? How much money have some of these companies like Uniswap Labs, like how much have they made with decentralized exchanges? They crush it. Any company that does a decentralized exchange that takes off, they get a very, very small, tiny fee, but it adds up and they make so much money. Guess what? In 2017, nobody had heard of a decentralized exchange. Nobody knew what one was. Exchanges in crypto were brand new. Coinbase had been around since 2014, but it, you know, Binance is the one that really came in and changed the game. It launched in 2017. So nobody could really foresee like what an opportunity creating a decentralized exchange would be. Well, you know, the first people that came up with that idea, they failed at it miserably. It would have been Ether Delta. Yeah, Ether Delta.
Oh, yeah.
And Fork Delta. And let me tell you, it took me like 4 to 6, how many hours did it take us, Justin, to do a transaction for, what did we buy? What was it? Was it SIG? Internet node token? No, we never got out. So it basically took us like 4 to 6 hours to figure out how to do one transaction, at least, and that may be being generous. They failed miserably. So the point is there can be really great ideas that come out on how to make money in the metaverse, and other people may try it and they may fail. But look at what those early ideas are and think about those and think about how you can capitalize on some of those. You don't have to be a developer. You don't have to be, someone that has a lot of technical knowledge. All you got to do is be able to figure out how to connect people. We hired 4 professional Minecraft builders to build our land in Sandbox. You know where we found them out? We found them in Discord, just in a Discord group. We started putting feelers out. They're kids. Just like he was talking about, they're kids. They built a whole city for us in Sandbox. They have a Bitboy statue. I am pretty proud of it. I don't know if I'll ever get one in real life, but in the metaverse, it's there, you know, digital city. So we're really excited about it. And think about that, like building, like that's a good opportunity. But you know, there are gonna be so many ways for you to make money in the metaverse. And just think about this. Almost anything that you can do in real life, you're going to be able to do in the metaverse.
Absolutely. Very well said. I love that. So I think at this point, because we probably got a couple minutes left, does anybody in the crowd have a question for anybody up here? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to point out a lot of the things you're talking about, particularly with kids. Like, I just got married, and my wife has a 10 and a 14-year-old. And it's funny because even with like my PFPs, like if I'm getting any type of thing, I'm like, hey, what looks cool to you? And they're like, that one's stupid. Get this one. So I'm watching them play games, and as frustrating and infuriating as that is, especially watching them be on Zoom last year at school, but they're really playing games the whole time on Zoom. I realized, wow, there is value here because these kids are like building this stuff, and like I see they're like playing around in the sandbox, and they're doing all these things that like separately I'm trying to learn. I'm like, oh, like, these kids are already ahead of the game. So I think you're very on point with that. But I really wanted to point out like something for me that as scary as I run a lot of like men's groups, and I run a lot of things that like help people digital detox. And I think that a big thing is for people just to step out of that. But it seems like with what you guys are saying, it's sucking them in, and we think that this is something decentralized, but it's just centralizing everything for like in a new way that we don't know. So like just this experience.
Well, I think you're talking about philosophical decentralization.
Correct.
No, different than technical decentralization.
Yes. So I just want to ask you guys, like, for you, what is your experience in that, like, just being able to be here and to see each other? And and it's not PFPs or whatever, and you get to, like, how much is that interaction mean to you guys compared to, like, what you see that's going? And I know you kind of touched on that, how it's a little scary, but, like, if you kind of want to go into that.
I like to reach out and touch people.
It's a generational thing.
Well, this show is done on Bitboy's channel, and it's always done virtually. I do this from my home in North Carolina. You're in your home in Detroit, and so being together in person is one of the most priceless things that I can say. Period. Like, I would much rather be with everybody here on a personal level and put my phone down and not even get on social media. Because when I'm here, when I'm at these events, I don't get on social media. I'm not sitting here showing pictures of people I take. I do that maybe when I'm in the bathroom or maybe when I go home. But when I'm here, and I try to be here and in the now, in the moment, because that's the only moment that we actually have is now, the present.
Do you think the metaverse can replicate that, though?
No.
No. Let me.
No.
Can I tell a quick story? Do I have time for a quick story?
Well,
3 minute quick story.
Okay. I can be a 3-minute man. Let's go. Listen, here's. So Justin and I, we used to do a podcast called Beards and Bitcoins. Everybody loved Beards and Bitcoins, so nobody watched it. It was a really fun show, and that's how they're doing that. Justin and I met, and within like one day of meeting each other, we decided to start a podcast. It was in 2018, and we decided, like, it was struggling a little bit, and we couldn't figure out what it was, and we made the decision to start filming it in person. So we booked a studio in Austin, and I would go there once every like 2 months, and we'd film 7 or 8 episodes. It is amazing the difference in synergy between people when you're live and when you're doing it, when you're doing it on a Zoom. The nonverbal cues that you can give in person, while they look the same, when you're in person, it's like, when I'm about to stop talking and you start talking. We never talked over each other, which when we do the podcast and we do interviews virtually, we talked over each other all the time. And it's just like amazing how in person you only get that. I mean, we're designed to be relational people, I think. That's why we thrive on people.
Can I just say that when you guys had me on the Beards and Bitcoin, I was so flattered because I thought that I had a strong beard compared to Justin's. It's like, I feel so special.
I didn't have a beard, and I got to be on. That was cool.
I thought it was exclusively
Did you
bearded.
just spit shade at me, Steve?
For your beard?
Yeah, because you said I was on the show and, Justin's beard.
Well, your beard
Mine was a little bit longer back then, but it was scraggly.
Who won the show? What's the point?
I have 38,239,742. I should have made it 21 million.
With that being said, everyone on this stage besides myself is a winner. Because the host can't win.
You're a winner too, man.
Well, the host can't win, that's all. But thank you, I appreciate you. So everybody wins, but I would like Seth to leave us with, because typically on the show, if you watch on YouTube, Blood.
No.
Seth, leave us with your 30-second parting words on any, it doesn't have to be about Metaverse, just on anything that you want everyone here to listen to.
While you're doing push-ups.
No, do not do push-ups.
No push-ups.
I will step on your back.
It's tempting. I would let him. So, as far as like, guys, parting. Oh my gosh. Okay. So,
Make some noise for Seth.
Guys, parting words. I love that was the question that we ended with, right? Sometimes we get this tunnel vision. Sometimes we get stuck in just this myopia. We're so close to it, and we can't see it, right? As was mentioned before, the fact that you're here means that you're already tuned into the metaverse, you're already tuned into cryptocurrencies, you're already tuned into blockchain in a way that is going to put you ahead of anybody you know. You're going to be the guru that helps lead your friends and family into whatever the future is. Whatever it looks like, that's going to be you. You're going to be their guide. But not if you're wrapped up in knots. We do have to dopamine detox. We do have to step back every now and then. If you don't sharpen the saw, right, it gets dull. If you don't unstring a bow, it stops shooting arrows. So every now and then, if we don't just step back and realize, like, why are we even building in this direction, then it's all for nothing. That's just what I wanted to say, guys. It's at the end of the day, it's just crypto. Yes, it's everything we're building right now, but it's also just crypto. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. All right, well, this has been the first ever live episode of Around the Blockchain. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to watch more of this kind of stuff, make sure that you check out every one of these guys' channels. And then tune into the Bitboy channel every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do Around the Blockchain, bringing you the best influencers and thought leaders in the space. We'll see you next time.
and YouTube show. You're gonna hear the trials and tribulations of running a channel in this ever-changing blockchain space. We got NFTs to worry about, we got metaverses coming up, you know, and we got these YouTubers that are the front lines for mass adoption education, and you're gonna learn how they do it today. So I'm gonna start introducing them. First one up is Ballina. Come on up. You got 30 seconds to tell people who you are.
Hey, I'm Ballina, also known as Diary of a Made Man. On YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. I've been in crypto since 2016. Had a huge channel back in 2017, showing people how to invest in ICOs using spreadsheets. We now took that and launched Tokenmetrics, which is a data-driven company for investing in crypto with AI.
He also has a rap video on YouTube. Look it up. Next one up is the least. Which one do you like? Like Austin or Arnold better? You say like Arnold better? Austin? Arnold, come up. Wait, they're both Arnolds. Austin and Aaron. They're both Arnolds. Ah, too many A's.
Thank you very much, Adam. Great to be here. Altcoin Daily Army, thanks for checking in. We have a YouTube channel, 1.2 million subscribers, Twitter, almost 1 million. News, opinion, channel for the everyman, by the everyman. Great to be here, Austin.
Adam, you're an awesome host, man. Doing great. That was it? Who here is an Altcoin Daily watcher? All right. All right. Excuse me? What is this? Did we win?
You creamed it in the best news category. There wasn't even a runner-up.
Thank you.
Take your seats, gentlemen. Next up is the wonderful Crypto WendyO, the O Show.
Hi, so my name is Wendy. Some of you know me as Crypto WendyO. I run a YouTube channel. I've got a TikTok, Twitter, free newsletter, and we basically talk about the basics of crypto. And the reason why that is so important is because most people in the world do not come from money. They do not come from wealth. And I think that it's very important to give everybody a good quality of life. And I really, really believe that crypto can do that. And there's lots of different avenues that we can achieve that through, not just in trading. We can do that with NFTs. We can do that in working in the space. And that's what my channel is all about, is leveling the playing field out and including everybody that is interested in bettering their quality of life. Thank you.
You guys are losing. She's the best introduction by far. Next up is this guy. He's growing. I don't know if you really know. This guy's a fan. You know who we're doing? You want to introduce him?
Introducing Tom Crown.
That's all you got?
He is a legendary chartist, technical analyst, and debatably one of the best technical analysts on the platform, Tom Crown.
And I got something for Tom here.
What could it be?
Whoever does best TA in the space, it changes every year. Tom is new to it. He really campaigned for it. He also deserves it. He ties this with Crypto Jebb. They were within 100 votes of each other. I tell you what, you keep this for a week, then you mail it to Jebb. I think we're ready. I think that's it, right? This spot's mine? Right? Oh, no. Who we missing? Who we missing?
Bitboy.
Who we missing?
Bitboy.
Who we missing? Bitboy. I think Bitboy should come on stage.
Hey guys, really excited to be here today. You know, we're living in the metaverse tent, the dome, and that's good because we'll all be living in the metaverse soon. And why you lay these at my feet? I appreciate everybody that watches my channel. Definitely, obviously, we've got the largest crypto community in all the interwebs, as we say. And a lot of people, they come up to me and they always say, thank you, you know, you've done so much, you changed our lives, we appreciate you. Every person that watches my channel, I appreciate just as much as they appreciate me.
I appreciate you, Ben. These are for Best Daily Show for Around the Blockchain. We did that show last night. It was great. You should have seen it. Best Interviews, Most Funny. Are you funny?
I've been told that.
Most
funny looking, maybe. That was okay.
Well, you're much better looking than me, but you're sitting next to Crypto Wendy and Ian Ballina and at least one of the Aaron brothers, so. That was a terrible joke. All right, so this is how this is going to work. Oh, wait, I forgot something. Damn it. The top prize influencer of the year has escaped Bitboy since 2018. He didn't get it in 2019, he didn't get it in 2020. He gets to share the prize in 2021. Here's your belt. Altcoin Daily is the other winner. Your belt just came in. It got to my hotel about an hour ago. I'll give it to you later.
God, I thought I ditched these guys a long time ago, okay?
All right, so
Congrats.
how this is going to work, I am technically the moderator, but no one wants to look at me. I'm not up here trying to clout chase or anything, so I'm actually going to hop into the crowd. I'm going to give them some questions and let them take it from there. The purpose of this, or theme of this, what are we calling this, panel talk, is blockchain and YouTube. The trials and tribulations of running a YouTube channel in an ever-changing space. Back in the day, everyone kind of had a universal goal of what you were going to YouTube to be, to learn how to be financially stable. What should I trade in? What should I watch out for? And that's why everyone says they're not a financial advisor. Now NFTs are in place. Where are we? We're in a metadome? Is 2022 going to be the year of meta? How are they going to adapt? Like, what are the trial tribulations with all this new stuff getting thrown at it? And with influencer being the #1 job that kids want to be when growing up, which is crazy. I learned that from you yesterday, Bitboy. Thank you for that. What advice do they have to YouTubers on the rise? Because one thing that this space can't be is selfish. It needs to be lots of different voices. You, Bitboy, and the Bit Squad over there do a great job of showcasing lots of YouTubers on their channel. And maybe someone in his audience has a channel and will rise and find himself in the same place. So, without further ado, what has been the X factor in the year of 2021? What was something that happened in 2021 that did not happen in 2020, 2019, 2018 that made you have to adapt your content for a new audience? Let's start with one of the Aaron brothers.
Sure, I'll start. First of all, if you're part of the Altcoin Daily Army, appreciate everybody being here. So cool to see everybody and meet everybody these past couple days. Yes. And I'd also say that, you know, we're in a digital asset gold rush, you know, Bitcoin digital asset gold rush. I also think we're in a content creation gold rush, in that it's never been easier to create content and start your own channel, and it's only getting easier. You know, if you're my age, you probably have 1 or 2 friends who do it professionally. If you're younger than me, you probably have people who, a lot more friends who produce content on a professional level. So, you know, definitely the next generation is going to be filled with content creators, and there's no better time to start than now if you're at all interested, because in the future everybody's going to be a content creator. As far as the X factor goes of this year specifically, I mean, for what we do, you know, cryptocurrency reached mass adoption in a way that we did not see last cycle, and certainly never before in Bitcoin or crypto's history, particularly with NFTs bringing in all sorts of people, not just, you know, tech bros or, you know, just, you know, white guys in college. It's, you know, bringing in everybody, making it accessible for everybody, and it should be for everybody, and it's got everybody interested in the metaverse in general. And I'd say, you know, mainstream coverage and celebrities getting involved was the X factor this year. Austin?
Hello. Yeah, I would just echo that. I think it was well said. Also, this year specifically, there's so much more interest, which means so much more noise as well. Like, people want information and all this. There's BS and there's good stuff. So I think the key this year, which I think we all dealt with, is just cutting through the noise, making sure that projects or topics that we care about as much as what our audience is interested in, can we cover it all, give our opinion or share the news going on without being distracted by the overload of just stimulus of different projects out there.
Bitboy, you got something to add? X Factor?
Yeah, well, for me, it's really helped to be extremely, extremely good looking. Like, that is probably the number one thing that has brought, the number one thing that has, brought a lot of change this year is this is the 4th year of the Bitcoin bull, the Bitcoin cycle. So obviously when attention goes up to crypto, that's when crypto channels thrive. And a lot of people this year are like, hey, I want to start a crypto channel. And we've had people that have started channels this year that have got 200,000-300,000 subscribers. That is not normal. You look at those numbers right now and you say, oh my gosh, like, creating crypto or content in crypto is so lucrative. They make so much money. They do so well. People love the views. They love the attention. And all that is true. But somebody asked me earlier, somebody in the conference, she said, hey, like, is it a great time for me to start a YouTube channel? I said, yes and no, like, in crypto. You have to be prepared if you do start content right now that next year, the attention is going to go through the floor. And I started my channel at the worst possible month you could start a YouTube channel, which was in January of 2018, when everything peaked and everything dropped. I wanted to do this channel that was fun. It was going to be like, comic related, and it was going to have an animated superhero called Bitboy. That's where the name comes from. But the funny thing that happened is, nobody wanted anything funny in the bear market. Nobody wanted anything that was cultural. That was not the environment we were in. They just wanted news. They wanted hope. They wanted to see a bigger picture of the future. So what I would say to anybody, because I agree 100% with what the Aaron twins, is that the name? What Austin and Aaron said earlier, which is content creation is in a gold rush right now. Having a YouTube channel in crypto is one of the most rewarding things for sure that I've ever done, but it was extremely hard for years. I had videos even going back to 2019 that had 100, 200, 300 views on them. Like, nobody cared. I get that in a second when we release a video now. So if content creation is your thing and is something you're interested in, do it. That's always my first piece of advice. Do it. Stop thinking about it. Do it. But you need to be prepared that there are no shortcuts, and you have to work hard, and attention will go through the floor in the bear market, which is why we are going to be switching in the bear market to a lot of metaverse content, because we think that can still be maybe an attention gold rush.
Wendy,
can you give your opinion?
Ben mentioned that there's been a lot of growth in this space, and it wasn't typically normal for people to, just get 50,000 subs like in a couple of months. You've seen yourself grow amazingly over the last year. You're now over 100K, and honestly, I think if we keep the status, you'll be at 1 million soon. As you've been growing, what is the difference between the content you made back when you were, let's call you a micro-influencer, to now that you're a titan?
To be honest, well, first off, thank you for having me. This has been an amazing experience, and I just want to tell everybody that's in this room right now, if this is your first crypto conference, this is probably one of the best conferences I've been to in, I don't even remember. There's so many people here. There's so much diversity. And it's really a beautiful thing to see, and it's really bringing people together despite of our differences. But as far as content goes, one of the things that really helped me grow my channel was TikTok, and I do have to give credit where it's due to Ben, because he said, get on TikTok, and I said, ugh. Because believe it or not, I hate being in front of the camera, I hate talking, a lot of that type of stuff, and I don't know how I get up and do this every day, but I do.
You hate talking?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Anyways, but TikTok has helped a lot, and one of the cool things about TikTok is you can make really relatable content to people, and the way their algorithm works is you make a piece of content and it's going to trigger their algorithm to where other like-minded people will see your stuff, and it'll keep pushing your content towards them. So TikTok's helped me grow my YouTube channel a lot, which has been absolutely amazing. And one of the new things that I've been doing is I've been getting a little bit political on my TikTok and on YouTube, which has also helped growth. And politically with me, I'm right down the middle. I just want everybody to have the best quality of life. And there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world, and through TikTok and through YouTube. Excuse me?
Was there a question?
Oh.
Please hold questions till the end of the show. Thank you.
But it's really kind of helped me to create better content and bring a lot of these issues that are scary that are happening, especially with our governments in the United States when it comes to the infrastructure bill, when it comes to the new laws and regulations that they're pushing to kind of stop crypto from growing. And I've been able to reach a lot of people that way, and it's been amazing. And as far as when the bear market comes, numbers will drop, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, because my mission is a lot greater. I have a 5-year-old daughter that looks up to me for different things, and one of the reasons why I've stood in crypto so long and stood making content is for her, despite of all the hate and the terrible things that people say, because I am a woman in crypto. She's my motivation, because I know there's other girls out there that are looking up to me, or other people that come from the streets like where I come, and then have had a very bad quality of life and have seen trauma and have had really terrible things happen to them, that have lost parents. And that's one of the things that inspires me to keep going, is because if I can help one person improve their quality of life or feel better about themselves and let them know to keep going and it's going to be okay, then my job is done.
That's amazing, Wendy. Everyone give her a hand. That's from the heart. To go to the guy at the end there, Tom Crown, we're talking about YouTube growth, and you're a guy who's been here forever, and you're finally experiencing it. What is it like? What are you doing differently now that you're on the rise?
Well, this is my first conference. This is pretty exciting. It's actually the first time I've been in front of a live crowd versus like an internet crowd. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Are those the shorts you always wear?
Always.
Okay.
You can't see them when I stream.
I have a very good look from this angle, and it's 5 out of 10.
Keep your eyes to yourself over there.
At least he's wearing them, you know.
So what am I doing different? And the answer is really delivering easily digestible, short content. You guys, if you've watched me, I've done long streams. I do technical analysis. It can be a little dry. It doesn't have a broad appeal, and I've tried to take that back a little bit, and it's been a double win because it takes less of my time to do that. You know, streaming isn't just jumping on the camera, it's hours of prepping, shutting it down, kind of promoting it. I'd really encourage anybody out there who's thinking about it, go for it. Like, everyone kind of told the same story. It's like in the beginning, you're just broadcasting to no one. It's like an empty room, but that doesn't stay. Over time, you know, your core group finds you and they love you, and then they promote you, and from 0 to 1,000 maybe is the hardest thing to do. Just getting that first core kind of fan base, and after that, it's just pretty much exponential.
You said it's the same story, and someone who's been in the game forever, Ballina. You've been here since, I think, before anyone else on stage, and you're still here. What are the changes you've seen since you've started to where you are now? Like, how are you adapting with the changing world and still using YouTube as a source of reaching the audience?
So I would say the biggest change we're doing at Tokenmetrics is back in 2017, I built a persona channel from 0 to over 100K subscribers in basically a year. But the whole motto was as a personal brand. And going through the bear market, I learned it's better for us to build this as a corporate brand. So I ended up launching Tokenmetrics, and now with Tokenmetrics, we've built that up from 0 to 100K subs in basically 1 year as well in this market cycle. But the main difference is now we have a cast of characters. So going out there, hiring people like Bill from Goldman Sachs, Mehdi, Forrest. So we're treating this almost as a crypto TV network, right? So our motto is actually trying to become the Bloomberg TV of crypto. And to get there, we have to treat this as a business and bring in lots of different casts of characters that can cater to different topics, whether it's technical analysis, fundamental analysis, metaverse, DAOs, NFTs. So really treating this almost like a network as a whole. That's the big difference our team has been doing in the last 1 or 2 years.
Awesome, thank you all. Now, for the next questions, it's open. And feel free to debate and interrupt or whatever. You know, you do your things. You guys are all personalities. Don't point at Ben, Wendy. Come on. He told a joke.
I like to talk.
He told a
I'm
joke
not
that
like
no one
Wendy.
laughed about. Okay, hey, funniest influencer 2021, everybody.
I'm funnier.
Oh, wow. Well, next year maybe. What was it? You messed me up. I forgot what I was going to ask. All right, so here's the thing. I know that when I learned about cryptocurrency, the first thing I did was take out my Android phone. Guy couldn't afford an iPhone yet. Someone's phone is going off. Please turn that off. And I Googled, what is cryptocurrency? Well, how do I make money out of cryptocurrency? Because I was poor and I wanted to become financially stable. And I think that's something a lot of people do. And I got articles and I didn't know what I was reading. Proof of work, what's a blockchain? I have no idea. But at the top of the searches, because Google owns YouTube, were some links to some videos. I found a guy named Crypto Love. I'm not sure what the opinion is on him anymore, but he was boom shakalaki me, entertaining me, and when I found myself entertained, I found myself not skipping the content, taking it in. Before I knew it, I was learning. So because I feel, this is my personal opinion, that for my Uber driver, my mailman, my mother, when I ask them about cryptocurrency, what they know they probably got from YouTube. I cannot picture them even reading an article. So knowing that you're like the front lines of mass adoption, what responsibilities do you feel you have as a YouTuber?
We have massive responsibility. And that is why a lot of people have seen my channel evolve from, we used to talk a lot about smaller projects. We used to talk a lot about riskier projects, summer of 2020, DeFi stuff, finance coins, things that had a lot of potential returns. But something happened along the way, which is my channel absolutely blew up. And I understand that responsibility when it comes to the direction to lead my audience. So my investing strategy actually has also matured along with the maturation of my channel. That's why now we mostly talk about the top coins. We'll still do a small cap coin video, maybe like one or two out of our 28 videos total we do per week, somewhere around there. But you have to understand that responsibility. And I think there's this huge misconception that a lot of YouTubers in crypto don't understand that responsibility. And we also, here's the biggest joke ever, is that we don't understand the ramifications of SEC action down the road based on the decisions that we make today on whether or not we disclose sponsored videos, the types of possible securities that we talk about. I can guarantee you, we all think about that stuff. And I built my channel from the very beginning with that in mind. I don't want one day to have to go in and talk to my family and say, hey guys, I'm being arrested because I did a sponsored video and I didn't tell anybody. And there's just this idea out there that exists in social media, because if you talk about the number one thing that we all get attacked for, that's what it is, and it's 100% false. Are there bad actors out there that have done that? Yeah, absolutely. They're idiots. They don't understand the long-term ramifications of possible action, and they also don't respect their audience. To me, that's the thing that really pisses me off about people that have gone down that route before, is they take short-term gains. Like, I was offered 7 figures to do a video one time. And you know what I said? That's a huge red flag. I'm gonna stay as far away from that as possible. We understand and we think about that stuff. I can guarantee you every person on this stage understands that responsibility, and it's time for a lot of the toxicity and the false accusations to absolutely go away.
Well said, well said. I would just add on that, yeah, of course there's a responsibility. You know, one of the things, I was just a YouTube spectator in 2016, 2017, watching crypto YouTube, actually near the end of 2017. And, you know, one of the things that I kind of figured out, especially in 2018, is half of the people I watched did not disclose sponsored content. And I thought, there's definitely room for improvement there. And, you know, I thought, you know, a lot of people were good and those guys stuck around. But, you know, I thought, oh, I could do it, you know, just as good, if not better than some of those guys. Turns out I was right. No, just kidding. But, you know, I like to think of it, obviously, so you have to be responsible, but, you know, I like to think of it, who's that sports?
Skip Bayless?
Yeah, I like to think of it as kind of like Skip Bayless. Like, you watch Skip Bayless for sports commentary, particularly what we do. You watch Skip Bayless for sports commentary. You don't necessarily make a bet based on what Skip Bayless says, but you just watch him for his commentary and opinion, and you understand that he's just, you know, giving his opinion on the news.
And to add on to that, if you live in the US, you have a legal responsibility. That is 100% clear. When we started the channel, that was a need that we were trying to fill in the market. You know, can we do this and have a relationship with our audience that, you know, is a relationship that we would want to have, that we would want to see with another YouTuber. But individually, what responsibility do you have with your subscribers? I think that's, you have the exact same responsibility that you would have with a friend group or a family group. or you can choose if you want to keep it more business or more friends or more family. But for me, I would never go to my friends and, not disclose a sponsored piece of content or lie or be deceiving in any way, or else they wouldn't really be my friends. And I think YouTube is so, you get such a direct line to that person that's communicating. Like I know that's how we try and treat it. It's like if you're having a beer at a bar with us and we're just talking crypto as friends, and then based on each different specific YouTuber, you have to define what that is for you.
Anyone else have anything to add on before I lighten the mood?
I do.
All right.
So I started my channel and I started all my social media accounts coming out and said, I'm going to do sponsored content and I'm going to disclose. Anything that is posted on either any social media is always disclosed. I work with a team of attorneys to help me do that. I have a really amazing vetting team. The only time that we do talk about projects without necessarily vetting them is on the Sunday night live stream at 6 p.m. PT, and basically the community comes in. If there's enough requests about something, we'll go ahead and we'll chart it. And that's just me doing a service to the community. There's no obligations. I'm not telling people, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. It's just really off the cuff, and that's just my way of letting community members know and people that have projects they're interested in presenting that way, because it's a fun way. People know it's not sponsored. But another thing too, like Bitboy said, the amount of misinformation about YouTubers is it's unbelievable, and a lot of it is people doing things to cover up what they're doing. But the best thing to do is to always disclose. And also, when I look at my subscribers, I hate the term subscribers and I hate the term followers. I like to look at people as my network. Like anybody who watches my content, somebody that's in my network, and I consider you as a friend. And I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. And that's one of the things that we talk about the most on all my social media platforms is taking profit. I don't care what you guys invest in. I don't care if you think that coin XYZ is going to go to $10 million in 2025. If you're interested in something, if you're passionate about something, I support you. The only thing that I ask in return is please consider creating a trading or investing journal. Figure out when you want to take profit, create a moon bag, pull out your initial investment, pull out your profit, and just hedge. Just be prepared. The markets are very volatile. Bitcoin is a beautiful thing, but at the same time, there's a lot of regulation coming. And if you're not prepared, if you are not hedged, if you don't have a plan, if you're blindly investing in things and you're not taking responsibility for your actions, that is on you. Because we talk about taking profit probably in every single episode. So.
Ian, what do you make of this dome we're in? There's stuff on the ceiling, isn't there?
Oh, it's pretty sick.
I think it's
We are in the metaverse. All right, just have to tokenize this, make it an NFT.
Speaking of which,
metaverse. I don't even know.
Yeah, what is metaverse? That might be 2022. We might have people coming into the space, no longer looking to invest in cryptocurrency. This might be their inward.
I'm starting to think Adam is in the metaverse right now because every time I look up, he's in a different spot.
That is true. So with the metaverse, how are you going to communicate this to your audience? Is 2022 going to be the year in the metaverse, or is this a fad?
I would say partially. So the way I view the market is last year was the year of DeFi summer. This year, NFTs. And I think as we head into next year, the first 6 months, I see it being NFTs and metaverse. But I think next year will be the year of DAOs. DAOs, in my opinion, is the culmination of taking crypto fully mainstream. Because NFTs have brought in a completely new audience. Artists, musicians, creators. It's a creator economy. But I view DAOs as tokenizing human culture. Imagine every human in the world has an interest, a hobby, something they love. What if you could take that interest, that group, and tokenize it, and make it investable and tradable? For example, there's a DAO that was trying to buy the Constitution. There's a DAO that buys NFTs. There's a DAO that's trying to buy a basketball team, right? This is something that affects every human globally, and I think this is even more mainstream than NFTs. So I think next year is the year of DAOs.
Anyone else before we go to questions?
I got to give a shout out really quick. Big shout out to Kate in the audience for writing and covering on Constitution DAO for Decrypt.
Decrypt.
I highly recommend.
Stand up.
I highly recommend you guys not only follow her, but read her articles from Decrypt, because she does an outstanding job covering all of this stuff and making it into a very digestible way to understand. Because DAO, the term itself, It's complicated. NFT, non-fungible token, that's complicated. And that's part of our job as journalists and content creators to break this stuff down as simple as possible so everybody understands. I didn't come from a tech background, any way, shape, or form. And the fact that I work in tech today is pretty mind-blowing. If I can do it, anybody else can do it.
Okay, so I want to, man, this is a good idea for a video. I don't even know if I want to say this right now. Maybe I want to steal this for myself. No, I'm just kidding. I would not do that to y'all. But I just had like this epiphany as I was sitting up here thinking about this, because on one hand, I heavily disagree with Ian right here when he's saying that he thinks it is.
Bring it.
Yeah. Oh, bring it. Oh, okay. I finally got somebody.
Bring it. Let's go.
No. I disagree. I do agree with him that DAOs are the next big thing after Metaverse. But I want us to go back to late 2017 and early 2018. Okay. I want us. How many people here, by a show of hands, were in crypto watching YouTube videos from late 2017, 2018? Okay. How many of you guys were not? Okay, so it looks like price split pretty even here. And how many of you guys did not raise your hand? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, so if we go back to 2017, 2018, you guys know Crypto Stash, right? It comes on around the blockchain, love Stash. Stash, me and Wendy and Stash, we go way back to when we all started our channels. We've been friends from the very beginning. And, Stash would always talk about NFTs, and he'd always talk about Engine. And at some point, did you think he was a little crazy?
I actually didn't, because the technology behind NFTs is very, very important, very special, sacred to me. But we just weren't there yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm more judgmental than you, and I thought he was crazy. Okay. So I would listen to Stash talk about this gaming and these NFTs, and I'd be like, yeah, one day. Well, what happened is at the end of 2017 and in January 2018, you saw a lot of these gaming coins like Engine start to go way up. Wax was another one that started to really move up. The interest in the coins was there. But what happened after that in 2018? Those prices absolutely plummeted. And so the interest was not actually there. And I think that's what we're gonna see for Metaverse next year, okay? We're gonna see when the bear market hits and we start going down, we are gonna see the attention in the coins go away. But what actually happened in 2018 and 2019, the building behind the scenes with the coins that are still here, like Engine, that eventually launched Efinity, which is now a Polkadot interoperable NFT platform with parachains. Amazing stuff is coming, right? But that work was done in 2018 and 2019. So where people thought NFTs were the next big thing back then, they weren't. They had to be built out. Right now, we are in the excitement phase of Metaverse, okay? Because people in crypto are really excited about prices. You watch Sandbox, you watch Decentraland, you watch Blocktopia, you watch MetaHero, you watch Seek VR. You watch these coins and you see when the price starts to go down, people are not going to be interested. But it's the work that's going to be done in 2022 and in 2023 for the Metaverse that's really going to lay the groundwork for the rest of most of our lifetimes, I believe, when it comes to gaming and when it comes to Metaverse. I think we're going to look back, I've said this several times, we're going to look back one day, it's going to be internet, blockchain, Metaverse. Metaverse is going to be as big as everything else combined, okay? So where I disagree with Ian is, this is in no way a fad, but the price speculation on Metaverse tokens to some extent is a fad right now. And that's why I've been preaching to my audience, don't just look at the coins. Look at buying and selling the land. Find other ways that we talked about yesterday in our Around the Blockchain Live, unknown unknowns, things that we don't even know, blue ocean opportunities in Metaverse where people are going to become millionaires and maybe even billionaires that we can't visualize or conceptualize right now because the groundwork has not been laid. All that groundwork is getting laid in the next few years, so continue to pay attention.
Tom, you've been quiet. Say something.
Well, I'm not the biggest NFT guy, but I've learned a lot about them here. And my opinion on them is, I think they're amazing for crypto. I mean, look at this crowd. I've never seen this many people in crypto.
Give yourself a hand, guys.
Yeah, give yourself a hand. NFTs aren't going anywhere. That's what I say. I'm just going to repeat it. They're not going anywhere. They're just going to be a larger part of the future. I don't know exactly how they'll fit in, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out all together. So.
Any other thoughts on the Metaverse?
I think, if any of us could predict the future, we'd all be rich. You know, whether it's DAOs or metaverse or whatever is, you know, really big next year. You know, that's why it's so important to, you know, just have a place where you can come for daily information or weekly information to stay in tune and, you know, see what's going on and ultimately make your own decisions. Regarding how I describe the metaverse, just generally big picture, and obviously understanding that, you know, with each year we learn more and more. Like when DeFi, when we first heard that in 2020, maybe you didn't really understand what decentralized finance was. Then you saw some protocols that borrowing and lending or derivatives that were permissionless. How I describe metaverse is, you know, obviously there's just the VR component, which is, as far as we know, that's what Zuck is doing, and that's could be a metaverse. And then there's the blockchain component, where it's, you know, items or land is verifiably yours, and what would you get out of it? Well, more user rights, or the fact that you can own something whether you're in the game or not. And that's a good way to describe it right now, big picture. But, you know, maybe in a year we'll learn more. You know, what actually is the value? What's the killer DApp, like NFTs, I guess, are the killer DApp for, you know, blockchain platforms. Maybe there'll be killer things in the metaverse, like starting a business in the metaverse. Maybe that'll get big, or whatever it is. That's how I think of metaverse right now.
So we have metaverse and DAOs and NFTs. Oh my. What's your favorite part of just the blockchain space? And based off what you like, personally like, does that actually influence the type of content you make and how you present content to your audience? Let's start with Ben.
The people. That's honestly what I like about blockchain the most. And like I said, if you were at the Around the Blockchain Live yesterday, you watched it, you already saw me say this, but you know, the thing is all of you who are in here are extremely fortunate that you are wired this way. Other people are not wired to be visionary and look at the future. How many times, every single person in this room, I guarantee it, there's no even reason for me to ask. Every person has talked to someone that has been so resistant to crypto, so resistant to the digitization of currency. And you just rack your brain like, how can these people be this dumb? How can they actually think that we're gonna be trading pieces of paper and pieces of metal in 100 years? That is about as low IQ as it can possibly go. And they may be smart in other areas, you know, maybe they're good at painting, but you know, when it comes to money and future, they're idiots. And it's sad, it's true though. You guys know that this is true when you talk to those people until you're blue in the face and they just don't get it. The people in crypto, every person, all of my best friends are in crypto. My one best friend that I had before crypto got into crypto with me, okay? So all of my best friends are in crypto, and there's a reason why you connect. There's a reason why you click. There's a reason that me and TJ is my business partner, because we started talking about crypto in 2018, and we just hit it off. There's a reason why me and Wendy have been friends forever.
Frenemies.
Frenemies? That is actually true. We should do a podcast called Frenemies. That's a bad idea, actually. So crypto frenemies, that would be,
I'd watch it.
That would be pretty good. Maybe we should talk about that after. But you know, the people that make up the space are the people that are going to be driving the future. Like when, you know, Wendy interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried for the first time like 2 years ago, like this guy's now a mega billionaire. But you know, he had the mindset, he had the visionary attitude as well, obviously. I won't get into his cartel ties, but that's another story. But the fact is, like I said, all of us have a certain way to think. We all click, and you're very fortunate to be in this room of people.
What was the question?
What part of blockchain do you love the most? And based off of what it is, does that influence the content you make?
It does. For me, 100%. I am for the people. And the reason why I'm for the people is because, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but before I did crypto full-time, I worked in HIV/AIDS for 7 years. My job was to manage patient care. My clients came from all different backgrounds, from all different places. And I loved what I did, but I had to end up quitting because it was a 3-hour round-trip commute. I had a brand new baby, and I didn't get a raise for 5 years. And it was time for me to kind of, you know, build and do something that was good for me for once. So my content is really for the people. I want to be able to help people improve their quality of life. And the best part about my content is talking about blockchain. And the reason why I love talking about blockchain is because I really think that you can apply blockchain to every aspect of life to improve the quality of life. One of the things I do when I first meet somebody, I ask them, what do you do for work? And when they tell me what they do for work, I bring blockchain into it, and I talk about how blockchain technology can help improve either their job, something in their personal life, etc. And I also implement that in a lot of my content creation, because to me, that is the best way to help educate somebody, is to get them excited about a potential positive solution. The way humans' minds are wired, we're generally wired to think of things in a negative aspect, and that's okay. But at the same time, my job as a content creator is to bring the positive aspects and to bring positivity to light to help kind of push the education forward and get people excited.
Ian, is your favorite part DAOs? You like DAOs?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Is your favorite part of blockchain DAOs?
My favorite part about blockchain would be that it's open finance, it's decentralized. There's so much data out there that's available for anybody to go out there, gather, do analysis on, from on-chain data to sentiment data, and the people as well. I mean, the people, we call it crypto family, globally. Because once you're in crypto, you can go anywhere in the world, and you have a family there with you that believes in the same vision, the same principles of why you're in crypto, and the same vision of empowering others globally.
Love it. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. Arnold twins, you're up.
For me personally, I'm going to answer this two ways. For my personal favorite part of crypto, I think while everybody comes for the gains, I certainly came for the promise of gains. I stayed for the community. And like what I mean by that is, like looking back on my journey with just crypto YouTube, we started the channel in 2018. Like, I don't necessarily remember the wild price swings or me making some great money on a certain investment. But what I do remember is the laughing or the community we built, you know, going through the bear market, talking about strategies of content creation together, being on Around the Blockchain and making DZ and Bitboy laugh, you know, on a random joke. Like, I remember those things. I don't necessarily remember, you know, wild price gains or losses or anything like that. So came for the price gains, stayed for the community, and the price gains, ideally. And then also the decentralization, obviously. Get rid of the middlemen, get rid of big tech, get rid of those centralized authorities, give the people control.
Yes. Number one thing I like about these conferences is meeting you guys, meeting the people. I love the people that have come up to us in the last couple days. And if you're here right now, if you want to say what's up, even if I've said what's up to you before, please come up to us and say hey. That's my favorite part about coming to conferences. And I guess what I like about crypto in general is just being on the forefront of something. Obviously, there's something here. Obviously, it's only getting bigger, and let's figure it out together.
I don't know how many millennials we have in here, but I'm a millennial, and my entire life, I don't know if I've really experienced hope. And I found cryptocurrency many years ago, and I felt hope. I thought the future can be different. It's not on one path that's already decided and I have no control over. There's this other force, and I think everyone that really gets into crypto feels that hope, and I think that's why we're all still here.
The common denominator I heard from every one of you is the people. You love the people and the community you make. So let's go to the people for some questions. Who has any questions? Raise your hand. You have a question, sir? I hold the mic.
Okay. I'm going to direct this one to Ian. You mentioned earlier that you made a shift from more of a personal brand to a corporate brand with your YouTube, and that it made sense. I'd love to hear you dive into that a little bit deeper about why it made sense to you, because I know that there's strengths to each, you know, in terms of how you're represented, how you're perceived, whether it's more corporate or more of a personal brand. And a similar question.
Great question. So, going back from the last bull market, essentially I was the face of ICOs and crypto at that time, which is great. But I also learned I didn't like being so much in the public spotlight. And it's very hard to, for example, IPO a personal brand, but you can't IPO a corporate brand, a company, right? And while I love being in the spotlight, first and foremost, I viewed myself as a business person, as an entrepreneur. I've had lots of businesses since I was a kid, and when I was creating content on YouTube, YouTube was my second business. It wasn't really my main business. My main business was building up investing funds to invest and eventually launch a fund. So being in the spotlight, I learned didn't have all the things I wanted. and I was better off being more behind the scenes and building a company, right? For example, having to deal with death threats, having to deal with getting hacked on a live stream. So, I mean, all the glitter is not gold, essentially, right? So I felt like I could do a lot more by just being an entrepreneur and having a company and putting that up and not having to deal with all the stuff in the public spotlight, essentially.
How many death threats do you get, Ian?
A lot.
More than you can count. All right, let's clap for the death threats, everybody. We got another question for Ben.
Just wanted to address the supreme leader of the XRP army. Do you have any alpha on that today?
All I can tell you is, you know, I don't have an update, a very specific update on what's going on right now, but I do think, kind of like I talked about on the live stream this morning, when you see the price go under $1 and you see the fact that there was just a whale that dumped 40 million, a little bit above $1, how much does that make sense? Does it make sense to anybody that has XRP to sell 40 million right now with the price down even from a local high, you know, over the last few weeks? And so it's very obvious that there continues to be coordinated pushes down. And I would say these coordinated pushes down are, you know, similar to what we saw with Chainlink in 2020. All of the FUD was created from the community intentionally in order to push the prices down. There's 100% hard evidence that that did happen with Chainlink. And so I do think that whether it's the people at the top of Ripple or whether it is large Ripple whales wanting to accumulate under $1, the fact that it dropped under $1 is astounding at this stage of the bull run, even with the SEC lawsuit going on. Because I'll tell you, the people that want to invest in XRP, they're still investing in XRP. They're finding it through, just because it's not on Coinbase doesn't mean the big investments are not still pouring in, they are. Then today we had this story about the Ripple nodes that went down for 5 hours. You know, it just seems like there's a lot of coordinated stuff. And if you guys have noticed, we're not hearing anything about the lawsuit right now. There's nothing going. It's like crickets right now with the lawsuit. You guys know where I stand on that. It should have been over in September, and there's evidence to suggest that. If you look at Jedd McCaleb, he has dumped XRP every month for, I think, 8 years now. The last 3 months since September, he has not sold any. He still has some to sell as well. This thing was supposed to be over in September. The price was supposed to go up. It did not happen. There was a power play at the top of the SEC. And so, you know, when will it be over? I'm shocked it's not over now, but it's got to be over soon. There's this idea that it's going to extend late into next year. There's no way that's happening. I still think it's going to be wrapped up by the end of this month. January possibly, but I still believe, as crazy as it sounds, I still believe Bitcoin is topping out by the end of this month. I think we're going to see something similar to what we saw in 2017, $8,000 to $20,000. We don't need that big of an increase to get a Bitcoin up to $100,000. And the XRP decision is supposed to influence the entire crypto market. It's not supposed to come after Bitcoin is peaked. So there's a lot of things hanging in the balance. Just keep the faith. Yesterday I bought 130,000 additional XRP to get our XRP holdings over 1 million XRP at this point. So to be honest with you, with the price going down, even though, like, I always fight this battle of, like, it's great for me personally because I've got the money to accumulate when the price goes down. But I care more about my audience. So the fact that it's still, like, stuck around this price, even though it can be financially beneficial, it still kills me. Like, I know everybody's sitting there and waiting for this price to run, and it is going to run, and everybody who has XRP is going to get rewarded. And then what you guys are going to see from XRP over the next 4 to 5 years is going to be unbelievable, or from Ripple Labs.
We got a question from Crypto Blood. Say hi to Crypto Blood, guys.
Come on, Crypto Blood.
Oh man, I don't have a question for you guys. I love all of you. That's
We love you too.
All right, especially you.
Yeah.
WendyO, especially you.
Oh.
Yeah, check me out on YouTube, Crypto Blood, on Twitter, CryptoBlood_. Thanks.
We have a real question here.
One for WendyO. The bear market that's coming. A little bit of insight, you know, when, why, what do we do when it hits, how do we survive it?
So we all know that a bear market is coming, and thank you so much for your question, because this is my favorite stuff to talk about. It makes me happy. I advocate for taking profit consistently, and when I talk about taking profit, let me clarify a little bit. If you're holding like Bitcoin, stable coins, Ethereum, some of the larger cap stuff, you might be okay with getting away with not necessarily taking profit. However, a lot of the low cap stuff, you need to be taking profit. We saw this happen with DeFi summer of 2020. I don't know how, most of the projects from that launch then, they're gone. They're to zero. They're no longer developing. The ones that are sticking around, they have dumped like, how much, 80%, 90%?
A lot.
A lot. Negative, I'm just kidding. No, but it's important to consistently take profits. And one of the strategies that has worked for me is when I'm up 2 times or 3 times, I will generally sell half on a double, half on a triple. Can I be missing out on gains? 100%. Yes, but at the same time, I'm taking those gains, I'm putting them into stable coins, and I'm earning passive income on a centralized platform. As far as when the bear market is going to come, we know it is going to come, we just don't know when. And anybody else that's going to sit up here, not necessarily up here, but anywhere else and tell you that it's going to happen on this day at this time, they're full of shit. And the reason why they're full of shit is most people don't realize we're in a bear market until we are actually in a bear market. It's okay to speculate, it's okay to be cautious, but understand we're not going to know. And especially with all of the crazy things that are happening economically right now in a global sense, we're printing money like crazy. We're still technically in a pandemic. So as far as when this bear market's going to come, I can't give you an answer, but I would be consistently preparing for that and just understand that my risk is going to be different than your risk and your risk and your risk. So do what works for you, do what is best for you and your family, and start preparing. And that doesn't mean panic sell everything. You make a moon bag, you still have skin in the game, but just prepare for that.
I disagree with Wendy. I strongly disagree with. Obviously, take profits. I agree with that. Double or triple. You know, listen to what Wendy says. I just had a double Baconator at Wendy's before I came on stage. So, definitely a great. They did laugh at him. They really did. But when she says like nobody knows we're in a bear market until we're in a bear market, that's actually not true. There were a lot of people in 2018, 2017 at the very end that were pointing and saying, "No, guys, that was it." But people wouldn't listen to them because the hopium is so high, you want to keep believing that you're still in that bear market. And we all are a testament of what happens when you stay in this market through a bear market. But I do believe that through the history of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin cycles, we can pretty much tell when the bear market begins. In May, I was very confident that we were not in a bear market. I was very confident in that. We told our audience all summer long, do not sell your Bitcoin, do not sell your Ethereum, and look what happened. There's a lot of people that came up to me and said, the only reason I did not sell during that time was because you said not to. And our message was getting out, and that was a very powerful thing. However, if we saw a 50% drop today, we are in a bear market. We are at the end of the cycle. If we see a 50% correction, we are in a bear market. In the middle of the year, we could withstand that and bounce back. I think a lot of people really, as people get more into mainstream adoption, right? Everybody's like, there's too much adoption right now. There's no way we're gonna go into a bear market. That's very idiotic thinking. When you look at the history and understand every point in history of Bitcoin, the main people that were in crypto thought that that cycle was gonna be different. You can find articles from 2018 saying Bitcoin is going to bounce back in 2 months, we are still in a bull market. You can find those the entire year. They would be saying, too much adoption, it's on CNBC, blah, 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 blah. We are at a point now where we are still minusculely adopted in crypto. And to think that that has changed that drastically since the last cycle, I think is very, very silly to say. That we can only go off of history, and we know generally how long this should be. People forget the fundamental effect of that Bitcoin halving. That is the key that drives the entire crypto market. And until that changes, which will be in 2140, there's a good chance it will still continue to rock the market. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean diminishing returns over time. We certainly have seen that. But I do believe to some extent you can judge when you are in a bear market. We're not there yet, but no, we're getting to the end. And if the prices drop enough, then yes, we could go ahead and feel safe saying it's not going to go back up. One last point I did want to say on Wendy that I did agree with, which what you said about DeFi over 2020, 1 year from now, you will be able to substitute that conversation word for word with NFT projects. So remember that. If you're in big gains in NFT projects, remember to take those profits because 99% of the coins that launched at that time in 2020 are gone. Probably 99% of these new NFT projects will be gone by the end of next year.
Ben is the only one that has the answers to when the bear market is coming. All hail Ben.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy.
He's part
The $100 is on your seat.
With that beard, he's actually part bear. That's how he does it. So, hey, I got laughs. Awesome.
That is not true.
Austin, have something to add?
When the bear market, what's the strategy?
You were nodding your head, yeah.
Well, I thought those were great responses. I can only speak for me personally. I like to, first off, I know for me personally, I think we all can come up with and find signs of a general idea when bear markets happen, meaning the big money starts to sell into the top as retail comes in. You know, the on-chain data, we're all looking at that. For me personally, I know that I'm never going to get the exact top, just like I'm never going to get the exact bottom. And it's crazy because I think for a lot of people, and again for me, it seems it's so easy to press buy, but it's often very hard to click that sell button and take profits when that's the most important part in some sense. So, you know, totally depends on how risk averse you are, what your time preference is, what coins you're holding, are they high caps or are they low caps? If you're just into Bitcoin or just into Ethereum, then you can take a little more risk. You know, they'll be here in 5 years, in my opinion. And if you're in those super low caps, then you should be taking profit liberally. But dollar cost average in, just like you dollar cost average out.
And I just quickly want to say, if you want the freaky truth about XRP and you want to know when to sell, we just released 2 killer interviews with Bitboy on Altcoin Daily. 2 separate interviews asking the full interview dedicated to when are you going to sell, what's your strategy, what do you do, you know, put it in some sort of yield thing, and you know, what's the truth about XRP? Give us in-depth. Search Altcoin Daily, seek out those 2 interviews just dropped over the last 2 days.
We have a question for Ian.
So hey, Ian, you were mentioning earlier that you believe, like, you know, going into 2022, DAOs are going to be the next movement going forward. So I believe that as well too, especially with everything going geopolitically and everything. So what would you say is your reasoning behind saying that, like, you know, you believe that DAOs are going to be the next move going into 2022?
Great question. So looking at the investment activity in the blockchain space from venture capitalists, angel investors, and even other investment DAOs, all the deals, the trending deals, are people investing into DAOs for next year. Right? For example, A16Z Crypto has gone heavy into DAO investments. They even had an article on their blog talking about why they view DAOs as the next narrative. Right? So the fact that smart money is going towards that route and is investing now, predicting that next year DAOs will begin to hit the mainstream consciousness, I think that's where they're going, right? Plus, the fact that you can take anything that any human has an interest in and turn that group, that activity, into an online community with a bank account, I think is powerful, right? Because that is limitless. Any human in the world who has any interest in anything can form a DAO, right? So I feel that as the next cornerstone to taking crypto mainstream, because whether you're a gamer, whether you're an investor, whether you're an artist, anything you have can be tokenized as a group, and that becomes something that's really, for me, the biggest thing in crypto, that transforms crypto past NFTs.
Anyone have anything to add on to DAOs? No, you can't. You're asking questions. You can't comment on DAOs. We got another question, though.
I don't even know if this makes sense.
Ah, okay. Here we go.
Is it possible to create a DAO for your community, for your YouTube channels?
What's the question?
So can you create a DAO for your YouTube channel, for your community?
You could, right? For example, there's Bankless. They have a YouTube channel and newsletter. They have Bankless DAO, where the community can be part of governance proposals. There are platforms like OpenLaw, which lets you create a DAO that's a Delaware-based LLC, essentially a legal DAO. Our team is also looking into creating our own investment DAO, right? Because, for example, if you take in crypto pooling, right? Basically, people pulling funds together in syndicates to invest. What if you could form a legal structure that was fully decentralized, where there was no central entity or party controlling anything, and that was also legal, that could invest in anything, right? For example, you have Pleasure DAO investing into NFTs. You have Metacartel Ventures, which invests into early-stage projects. So there are platforms out there that can do this, and I think as more development happens in this space, more people will begin to use these products.
I would say, just speaking about DAOs though real quick, I would be very careful when it comes to DAOs in terms of who loses in a DAO. Who loses? Any ideas?
The voter. Yeah, it's usually the people who are looking for all the free-based meetings and trying to support a token that doesn't necessarily contribute to the community involvement. And DeFi 2.0 is a big trend right now.
Yeah.
It's just chasing those high APYs, right? But like, if you take a look at, like, there's a couple of DAOs, like for example, there's one that's hoping to democratize, like basically like scientific data around like, like COVID and other research, because you see how there's like so.
Who loses there though? Who loses?
Nobody loses. Because
No.
In that scenario,
The controlling structures lose.
Okay.
Right? The controlling structures lose with DAOs. Okay? The people that control the information, they lose. And who controls the information? The people with the money. The funders in that example of the scientific research, okay? A DAO ruins centralization. That's not gonna go without a fight. Who would have possibly dreamed that stable coins would be labeled as securities? Nobody saw this coming. By the end of next year, stable coins will be labeled as securities. That is the regulation that is coming. That is what Gary Gensler has been setting up for months now. That's why stable coins are now falling under the SEC, which does not make sense. So if you think that centralization is going to come hard after stable coins, wait to see how hard they come after DAOs. When corporate DAOs start opening up, or when DeFi DAOs start opening up, there's going to be a lot of attacks on this stuff. And you watch for the regulators. So that's why I would be careful with some of that stuff. Even with DeFi, we know Bank of America said we don't care about Bitcoin. We're focused on competing with DeFi. And the best way to become the biggest building in town is to tear down all the other buildings. And that's what we constantly see with centralization. So even with Metaverse, even we go to Metaverse, there's now articles in the last week about money laundering in the Metaverse, right? So all of these things that we're so excited about right now and we're seeing as the next big things or the big investments of next year, I would say that doesn't mean don't not invest in those projects and you could get returns, but with a lot of this new technology and a lot of this new direction of where we're going, centralization is not gonna like it. So watch for a lot of regulation to continue to come up next year on all this stuff.
Great.
5-second retort, 5 seconds.
All right, so it's a question. So I just wanted to ask you then. So considering that DAOs are more global, like how would you say that would affect it? Because it sounds like you're speaking from an American perspective.
The SEC can go after anybody. The SEC has the longest arms in the entire world. That's why they're putting pressure on Binance. Basically, if one American in any country has invested in something, Americans can go after them. And you say, well, how can an American, or how can the SEC go after a company that's based in a country that, the SEC has no influence on? Well, guess where we do have influence? Money and economy. So what happens is our government reaches out to their government and says, you want this money? You give us this company that exists within your borders. That's how the SEC goes after people. It's the dirtiest, the most disgusting organization in all of the government. And I want you to think about what that means. Think about the slime and the filth that goes on in the government, and then think they're the very, very, very worst one. So to think that if they can go after other countries that have no relationship to the United States, to think they can't in some way go after globally decentralized DAOs is, I think in my personal opinion, a little naive.
Anyone else? What's your name?
Ben.
Thank you, Ben. What's your name?
My name is Dustin.
Dustin, you set this whole thing in motion by just screaming and interrupting while someone else actually raised a hand for a question. So I'm gonna let you have your final retort, but be sure that will not happen again.
No retort. Thank you.
Then apologize.
No apologies.
Oh, man. So we do have a question about taxes. We're talking about SEC, so this might dive into it.
So I'm sure you guys can agree that claiming taxes on cryptocurrency is very important, and not everyone can afford or buy any blockchain accountant or set up a foreign trust in Portugal. So what are some of your suggestions as far as information you can give to the room as far as claiming taxes appropriately?
Everybody can afford automated crypto tax software. So if you read TaxBit, it's one that we work at. Bitboycrypto.com/deals. You guys can go click my
Shout out to Zen Ledger.
Whoa. Frenemies, here we go. We should do a Crypto Frenemies podcast.
We should, because I'll win every episode.
Shut up, Wendy. No, I love Wendy.
I actually do box, by the way, guys, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't hit women, so I guess I would just have to.
I don't hit women either.
Crypto WendyO!
Wow. After all these years, she finally got me. So anyways, look, everybody can afford to work with TaxBit or ZenLedger. I've worked with ZenLedger before. It's actually how I got hooked up with my accountant. And here is the coolest thing about both of these companies is that you can actually go on their live chat support and any questions you have, because I can tell none of us are tax experts up here. Nobody wants to be the person that's like, this is what you should do for your taxes. I use a CPA. I use Andrew Gordon from Gordon Law, very high-powered CPA and attorney in Chicago. He's a great guy, but I use him because I can't do it myself. I can't figure it out myself. If I can't figure it out myself, then I don't want to be telling everybody how to do it. If you go to the live support option on both of those sites, and you ask questions. Of course, eventually, if you ask a ton of questions, they're gonna lead you to sign up for the service, but a lot of the services are like $70. It's not even a lot. And if you are trying to figure out how to claim taxes for crypto gains, I'm positive you can afford $70. You can probably afford, $1,000, $1,500, whatever the cost may be. But you take advantage of those chat support questions that they have, or chat support agents. You can go on there and ask questions, and they will answer them for you without you having to actually pay for their service.
Also, too, on my channel, I have a legal series, and I have quite a few different crypto CPAs coming on to answer questions, and I may even do, if I get enough emails or requests, I may get Andrew, because he's my guy, too, to come on and do a live stream and just answer questions. But I'm telling you guys, I'm not an expert when it comes to taxes, but if you are making money in crypto, you do need to pay your taxes or hire somebody to help you with that, because at least if you do show good faith that you're trying to do the right thing, God forbid you getting pinged or gaffled up, they're gonna look at that. So just remember that. And again, I hate taxes. I think that they're the worst thing ever, and the Fed. I hate the legalized cartels, but at the same time, I'm not gonna do time over something stupid and not see my 5-year-old because I didn't wanna pay taxes.
Tom, what do you make of this guy right here?
What do I think of him?
You're
I can't really
reflective. You have reflective glasses, and he has a reflected head.
We're shining, bud.
We're shining, bud. What does everyone makes of this getup? We're in the metaverse. We actually have a human metaverse person here that came for the show. This is awesome.
This is the fun part about conventions. People dressing up, people getting crazy. I love it.
You ever cosplay as anything?
Yeah, hell yeah.
What do you cosplay as?
I just cosplayed at Comic-Con with my girlfriend. Went as Jesse and James from Team Rocket from Pokemon.
Woo! Yes. But what I was getting at is the community is just so diverse and different. We have so many questions from so many different parts of the blockchain. They don't all connect. They come out of left field, and we got this guy up here in a suit and a mirror vision outfit. The crypto community is great. Let's get to a real question.
Hey, what's up, y'all? First of all, my name's Cesar. I'm from Seattle, and I literally booked my flight over here like 5 days ago. And a big part of that was for all you guys on stage. I watch all your channels, and WendyO and Bitboy and everybody. So I watch you every day. So I was like, man, I watch these guys every day or already on YouTube. Why don't I just go to the conference and meet them in person? So thank you. And then the question is, WendyO, you mentioned that in the last bull market, this is my first bull market, so you said that like 99% of the coins like don't exist anymore. My investments are in the top 100 coins mostly. How likely is it that projects within the top 100 coins will be gone after this?
Very likely. This is what we saw in 2017. I mean, there were so many things that I had invested in. I had no idea what I was doing until I really taught myself how to trade. And a lot of the stuff that was in the top 10 is no longer there. You go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, you can go ahead and adjust the settings, and you'll see what was there and what isn't. So the only thing I'm going to say is just take profits. It doesn't mean you have to sell everything, but just take some skin out of the game, leave a little bit in, flip it, roll it into something else, rinse and repeat.
You picked the right projects, though. You picked the winners. You're okay. Just kidding.
All right, we have time for one more question, but it has to be fun. It has to be a fun question. It has a fun, short question.
Everybody lower there.
Hey, let's give it up for Adam, by the way. Adam, great host. Keeping the energy of the room. Yeah, Adam
Good
Charles.
energy.
I said, does anyone have a question? There was 8 hands. Does anyone have a fun question? They all went down. You again? All right.
All right, I got a fun question. Would anyone on stage participate in a crypto YouTube celebrity boxing match?
Are we going to see Wendy versus Ben?
I'd love to do color commentary on that.
I actually I'd actually proposed a boxing match at one point to somebody, and they turned it down. But what I'd say is that's bear market activities. So when we're fighting over scraps, we'll be really fighting over scraps.
I don't toss paws anymore. I use boxing as a form of therapy because I had to fight to survive. But I will gladly be the announcer.
All right, let's end this on a good high note. We're going to start with Tom. Tom.
What's up?
Turn to the person to your left and say something nice about them.
You're even nicer than I thought you'd be in person.
Thanks, Tom. Nicer than you thought I'd be in person.
Continue.
Fantastic brother, fantastic business partner and teammate. You're the best. Altcoin Daily for life.
Thanks, man. I love you.
Oh.
Ian, you're an OG in the space. You're one of the crypto content creators that started it all. You know, I think we kind of were talking back there, but, you know, in a lot of ways, we stand on the shoulders of giants because you kind of set the trend and started educating people first. So I always look to those original people in this space to learn from as we make content.
Thank you. Wendy, I mean, you're amazing. You're an OG in crypto as well. Always great to have women going out there and evangelizing crypto and taking it mainstream. So congrats with all your success.
Thank you so much, Ian. I appreciate it.
Someone get a picture of this.
Even though Bitboy and I, we have our tiffs, we have our little spats. One thing I will say is he's always been a very good friend to me. He's always been supportive. He's a good family friend of mine. If I ever need anything, no matter what it is, I can call him at any time and he will be there. Amazing family man, amazing dad, and I'm very thankful to have you as a friend. Thank you.
Wow, Wendy, you got me all emotional over here. That was very sweet.
Don't come for me though.
I will not come for you. I will not come for you.
Ben.
Self.
Ben, hold up, Ben.
No.
So you notice there ain't no one to your left. You would have to be talking about.
Where's the mirror vision guy? I want him to stand here so I can.
So here's the thing, guys. This panel was supposed to end a while ago, but they come up to me and said, everyone's in here is having a great time. This is probably the best time anyone's had in this hot boss of a metaverse the whole entire conference. And they said, go until you want, basically. So we went about double our time. And, you know, the people funded that with their energy. So say something nice about the people, Ben.
Yeah,
What about
absolutely.
Tom?
I remember my first crypto conference. I went. It was in July of 2018, and it was a mess. What you'll find about blockchain conferences is a lot of times they're an absolute mess. Yeah, Chicago was an absolute mess for sure. But you know, while the organizer, I'm not saying this is a bad conference. I'm saying the organizers, the stages, they may move and stuff like that. But the great part about that first conference was getting to meet some of the people that I had followed online and some of the people that I looked up to. Because I know, I know a lot of you guys, you come here to meet us and you want to take pictures with us and it's really cool to interact with us. I was right where you were, like just 3 to 4 years ago, where there was Crypto Influencer Awards and I wasn't invited because I was just getting started. But I was getting started in a crypto journey that has changed my life forever in so many different ways, and you guys are all part of that. Like, you guys all right now have the opportunity to do something great. You guys are first movers, and you know, just want to encourage you to follow your dreams. You don't have to do the status quo. You don't have to go work the 9 to 5 and live in the rat race forever. And you're here because you recognize this, and you're surrounded by people, you know, that can go on this journey with you. And we are just so thankful and grateful for every person, because If it wasn't for the people that watched our channels, nobody would know who we are. It's you guys that are the real stars. It's you guys that really drive the content and drive what we talk about, because we all listen to you, because you guys all have valid opinions, and we respect our audience. So we love you guys. We appreciate you all, and thanks for coming.